Abdurrahman Sahib.
I've got a question from Surah Taha, verses 103 to 105. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يوم ينفخ في الصور ونحشر المجرمين يومئذ زرقا يتخافتون بينهم إن لبثتم إلا عشرا نحن أعلم بما يقولون إذ يقولون أمثلهم طريقة إن لبثتم إلا يوما. So my question is, what is meant by Asur and Zurqa?
Translated in them. This verse can be understood in two ways, like most of the verses applicable to the hereafter are also applicable in this world here. So this is the beauty of the Quran, that the same words are used so masterly that it can predict the things of this world as well as of the world to come. So in this world, this sur means when the final day of judgment arrives, when Islam is going to emerge victorious and the rest of the country people will be subdued, and that will be a sort of hell for them. And the majority of such people you can recognize by the color of their eyes. They will be blue-eyed nations, because they are the one who will be given ascendancy over the entire world. So when they suffer at the end at the hands of some decree of Allah, not by man-made things, and suddenly they will drop to the level of nothingness. All their glory, all their ascendancy over the rest of the world, all their supremacy in different sciences, etc., will be snatched away from them because of that war which has been predicted in Surah Taha. Surah Taha speaks of يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْجِبَالِ قُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا فَيَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا. That is, as I've already spoken on this subject before, is the global war which will destroy the superpowers and those great powers who look down upon the rest of the world as if they are from the mountains, looking at them from the mountain top. These are the mountains of arrogance, of pride, which will be shattered and they will be leveled. This is their hell. This is a hell for a people, to become ruled by those whom they used to rule before. Like Muslims also suffered the same hell in Spain, when they were overthrown after 800 years rule, or at that time when the things began, it was 500 some years or 600 years complete rule. Then it was so agonizing for them that one of the it was, I think, king of some area in Spain, a Muslim who in fact deserted the cause of it was Jihad in the end.
Tariq ibn
Jihad, the last one.
Yeah.
Tariq ibn Jihad. When he deserted his cause and ultimately he was defeated, and the Christian powers did not keep their promise, and he had to run for his life himself. Then you know what happened to him? Agony turned him mad. And last we hear of him was a madman begging for food in the streets of Morocco. Which particular place it was, I don't remember. Maybe it was the capital of that at that time. But the historians tell us that he met that end at last. So the agony of losing power and becoming slaves to the people whom you have ruled for centuries is a very punishing thing. So if you interpret it metaphorically, and if you interpret these verses to be applicable to this life here on earth, then it becomes so obvious. The blue-eyed people are all the European races. As against all other people, their eyes, the color of eyes is different. These are the blue-eyed people. And because during their rule, they would have defied God, they would have invented philosophies which would reject God and godly things. They would drift away so far from religious values that even their own religion, Christianity, would be a thing of the past. They will not take Christianity seriously enough to practice it. If they had done, this punishment will not be promised. Because the Holy Quran tells us elsewhere that even Christians, if they honestly follow their faith and do good deeds and believe in the hereafter, they have nothing to fear. This is the graciousness of God as presented by the Holy Quran. So there they would naturally deserve hell, having ruled the world so long and having excelled in so many sciences and philosophies. What did they do ultimately to the world? They practically preached atheism, materialism, a life which is not governed by the concept of God and His being supreme and the one to whom you are going to appear on the Day of Judgment. These things together I have bracketed. These are the things which these people have denied. And Christianity only is in name. Where is Christianity practiced here? Whenever some English people come to meet me and such a question is raised, when I inquire from them, tell me, is this civilization Christian, which you are putting in for comparison against Islam? First tell me, is it Christian? And without fail, the ponderant say no, it's not Christian civilization. So why do you compare an irreligious, godless society with religion? If you want to make comparison, compare Christianity with Islam, you're right. You have every right to do that. But religion with atheism, then this is nothing. I mean, you can't say our culture, our society is superior to that of Islam. How could it be when it has abandoned Christianity, it abandoned all the religious values, and you are beginning to suffer from the consequences? So in that respect, for God to say that they will be the ones who will make most of hell, it does not mean that all Europeans or Americans or Canadians will go to hell. It does not mean that at all. The Holy Quran issues a verdict, an edict, and then makes exceptions as well. So with reference to Christians, Jews, etc., the Holy Quran has made very clear exceptions. That God is not enemy of the people whom He Himself has created. If they behave, what has God to do with against them? So the Holy Quran repeatedly informs them of realities from different angles. كَذَلِكَ نُصَرِّفُ الْآيَاتِ. The Holy Quran says this is how we keep changing the angles of things so that they may understand. So this verse is one of those verses to make them realize the folly, and they must realize that this is the grave consequences which they are going to suffer. If they do not believe in the hereafter, let them not. But when they see punishment here on earth, what will they do then? So this is the reason why the Holy Quran speaks in terms that you see the fulfillment of the prophecies here on earth, so that you cannot say it may not happen in the hereafter. when part of the prophecy is fulfilled here, the next part will certainly follow. Got it? Is that what you wanted to find?
لا أظن أنه طارق بن زياد.
It was Abdullah.
سنتثبت من اسم.
We were talking about. The name of the king was Abdullah, who sold the interest of Muslim Undulus to some Christians, and he was jealous of the then general. It was Qasim or somebody, I don't remember the name, but there is one Tariq bin Ziyad. In the beginning, he was one of those who conquered Spain. But I'm talking of another general who happened to be at the end. He was a very zealous, dedicated Muslim. And he it was who repeatedly told the king not to surrender, not to come into any peace agreement with them, no truce, fight it out, and we are ready to offer our lives. And he had warned them that they will not keep their word. It will be too late for you to realize the folly of this surrender. But he overruled him. So he went alone and attacked the enemy. And when he was surrounded ultimately, from one rock, he jumped into the sea below, very deep below. I have seen if it is the same rock, but I don't know, but it is said by people who know that this is the rock from which he jumped. And it's very down, deep below, deep, steep below, that the sea, you can see the sea. And then he was not heard of. So either he survived or he did not, nobody knows. But that was the last of him, as he was saying, a proud man. He didn't surrender till the end. On the other hand, Abdullah, the then king, migrated from Spain because he was disinvested of everything he had. All power were taken away from him. And then he was forced to leave. So he's left everything behind. And then while he was leaving the country, I have seen the mountain top from which he for the last time looked back at Spain, at Honduras. I've seen the rock on which he stood. His mother, who was a very pious and dedicated lady, who also was against his surrender, she was by his side. So he looked back and started crying. How punishing it is to leave. The mother said, that which you could not hold with sword, you're trying to get back with tears? What a beautiful slap on his face. It is said that when he went to Morocco, he turned mad because of the agony of all this which had happened. I mean, he lost all his power and everything, and what he had brought on Islam. Muslims were wiped out, completely wiped out from Spain. So that is what happened to him in the end, that he used to roam the streets of what was the capital of the Spain? Rabat. I'm not sure whether it was Rabat or some other town. I think it was Rabat where he went. So a blind beggar who was mad, half mad, he used to roam the street, walk the streets of Rabat and cry for mercy and and some arms with a bowl in his hand. So that is what I said. I mean, this is a long diversion from the subject of discussion, but I thought the Muslims should be told what has happened to them before in the past. It's a very sad memory. So this was his end at last. The agony of losing power, the agony of ultimate total defeat creates a hell for you on earth. And it was that hell in which he burnt before he departed for the next world. That is why I thought of him. But tomorrow, inshallah, or the day or whenever we meet again, I'll give you the exact names, because my memory of events is, I hope, clear, but the memory of names is not that certain. So inshallah I'll give you exact names, who it was and what happened. Also, I have a suspicion that this madman could be not that king, but another Muslim leader who also had sold the interest of Islam in Spain. But as best as I can remember, I think this was the king who made this descent. Tomorrow, you send me the notes after investigating, please.
ذكر حضرتك.
Then you remember the name of that mountain top? It's called Cispero de Moro, something like that. The last sigh of the Moor. The name of that rock is the last sigh of the Moor. It was a Moor king, you know. Mm-hmm. Most of the Muslim conquerors came either directly from Morocco or via Morocco. So they were all called Moros. So the last of the Moros, that is the king of the Moors, he sighed here. So they have marked every point of disgrace to remind their generations that this is what we did to them. When I went to Spain for the first time, they raised this question. When we built the mosque Al-Basharat, and
in Morocco.
in Pedrobad, in Spain. In Pedrobad, we built a mosque, and this was the first mosque built after 5 centuries or so. So everybody was amazed, and all the Spanish press gathered there to inquire from me, why have you come? What is the purpose? Do you want to take the Spanish territory back, which you lost? You know, that was the spirit, and there was visible, dissatisfaction and anger, which you could notice from the questioner's question, style of question. So what I said later on, that became the headline, the flash news of almost all the papers. I said, in brief, I can tell you this much, that what the Muslim sword cannot hold, we have come to win back with love of Islam. With the love of Islam. This they liked so much, The flash that he said, this is what he said. I don't remember exactly what my words were, but this was a comparison. The sword lost the territory. Yes. We have come to win the hearts of those whose territory could not be held with swords, with love, with nothing else. So this is what the plan is, of course. We're winning more and more converts from Spain now, mashallah. Purely with the love of God and love of Islam, which once it occupies their hearts, converts them completely. Please.